How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting. Welcome back to chaoschild. Oh, here we go again. Last time we did a very long episode, probably longer than I usually would do, but it was, I don't know, it just didn't feel right to end it any other time. We got introduced to kind of like the backstory a bit, reminder of like where things went, a bit of the story about how Shibuya changed after like the quake and the activation of the Noah 2 device. And then we kind of got introduced to some of the new stuff. I'm sure it's going to be something similar to this, but basically we saw the first two examples of a new gen killer, which is probably the association that's going to be made very shortly, because it seems to be along similar lines, except this time it seems to be like a group of people. At least it's referenced a group. So that's probably a minimum of 3 individuals that are present or around when these things have happened. And we'll probably get some ideas about the specifics this time, too. We know the first guy, like, chopped off his own arm and died live on stream. The second was a girl who could sing. And then it cuts to, like a girl walking in the streets with her her whole body covered with clothing, except for her face. Her face looked really weird. I don't know what that's going to lead to, but I don't know. It'll probably be gross. And then we are met with a new Takuru rather than Takumi, and his friend Onoa, or I can't remember her name. We'll get to it, but she was fun. And she went and took some pictures of the sites where things happened. And so far, I'm already a big fan of the way they've started the story. You know, they had the highly disturbing new gen killing stuff going on, but then they jump into the introduction of the character, and the character is so much better delivered and so much more interesting. And I don't know. I don't know if relatable is the right word, but like I could have a lot more empathy for him than Takumi. So that's a really good start. Thank you for joining me. I saw a lot of people very excited about this. I'm very excited to be able to share it with you as well. So let's jump right in and enjoy ourselves for a nice little slice of our lives. All right, let's go. So he got a bag full of magazines because he's using like old, basically cosmopolitan magazines in order to try and pick up girls. I don't know if he has a specific girl in mind. He had a delusion of being attracted to his childhood friend, but I don't know if that's like the target of his affection so far, or if he has a specific target, or if in general he just wants a girlfriend, because, that tracks. But inside there, he found this notebook, and it's clearly referencing the new gen cases from, I think I said 6 years ago. So, the first game took place in 2009, and this game takes place in 2015. So yeah, 6 years ago. All right, let's dive right in. It was an old scrapbook about the murders that had occurred 6 years ago in Shibuya. I'd brought it from Jensan, too, come to think of it. I'd already scanned it, but I'd forgotten to throw out the original. How could I, of all people, be so lax with information? I'd just have to bundle it up with the rest of my collection. My eyes lingered on for a second on the page. Come to think of it... Oh, yeah? I quickly ran over to my PC. I opened the files in the case I'd been looking for. My words were a whisper. I looked back at the scrapbook, then compared it to the data on the PC. There was no doubt. I kept looking at it and it kept saying the same thing. But this... If my hypothesis was right... Oh, really? What do you think you've got? Alright. Strange sumo stickers increasing in Shibuya. Whoa, what's in the background? It like hurts my eyes. I feel like this might be a different computer, because I feel like his background was different when we last saw it, and like the place for the icons is in a different place as well. Okay, so, and it looks like we can scroll with the mouse. With the arrows. Okay. So we're on @ch.net/news./ I wonder, sometimes Steins Gate, there were times where you could go to a website in the game and it would actually be a site that was still up. So let's see if I can, or if I'll infect myself with a virus. Because that's totally possible as well. http://www.ch.net And then slash news dot. I don't know if I should do the whole thing or not, but slash go. All right, page not found. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try just the .net. Oh, interesting. Not for sale. The first one was just a 404, can't find. This one says not for sale. Please do not contact me on this matter. I will not answer any such mails. If you are a crap AI bot, please follow this site. Normal visitors do not go here. I'm scared. I'm not gonna touch that. Okay, well, so apparently someone owns the site, but they aren't going to sell it, which is interesting. And I wonder, could I, part of me wonders if I could click on these links in the game or not, because sometimes you can do stuff like that. But I don't want to do that quite yet, because I want to, it might advance the plot. Anyway, sorry. Strange Sumo stickers increasing Shibuya. Number 1, Francis at Star Milk Girl. Reproduction prohibited. Okay. Opt undergo at taboo.co.jp. Submitted September 28th. Lately, stickers with the face of a sumo wrestler on them have been appearing around Shibuya. Commonly known as sumo stickers, nobody knows who's putting them up or why. Everything about them is shrouded in mystery. You start seeing them on the signs and guardrails over Shibuya 5 or 6 years ago. Oh, so they started around the time of the crisis. There are a lot of other stickers put up by graffiti artists, but Shibuya in particular has a huge number of these sumo stickers. Some have speculated they're a message from a terrorist group or perhaps a cult, but as of now, there's nothing more than a hypothesis. When asked about the stickers, a 41-year-old man who worked at Jinan Shibuya hair salon said, "They're creepy. I wish whoever would stop destroying the Shibuya landscape." Sometimes residents will take them down only to see them reappear later. Shibuya City Hall says, quote, "We are continuing our community outreach efforts to stop these stickers from being put up, but also there's no plans to use city funds to remove the stickers. Police have said the placement of stickers on public property is a misdemeanor, but that's extremely difficult to prosecute without catching someone in the act of doing so. They have no current plans for dealing with the stickers either. The citizens of Shibuya are going to be stuck with these stickers for a while, it seems." And it looks like they have references to articles. So anonymous, so Sage replies, "After first saw the first two years ago, I've been seeing them everywhere. Feels like they're even more lately." And then Sage again saw another one today, and she's posting links to it. Oh, it's the two face symbols that we saw in the intro. It's like a sumo with the two faces. And Sage, whoever this Sage person is, keeps posting them. These two. And Sage again, WTF lol. There's one under the escalator, the Hikariwa. How the hell do you get that one down? Get that one down there? This took a few years back. I wonder if it's still there. Still Sage. 178. I saw one too. Lol, that's crazy. Oh, and maybe they're just anonymous. Sage is just a random someone posting. Here's more Sumorer pictures. Ugh. I always feel sick when I see that face. I once threw up when I saw one of those stickers. Crap sucks. Whoever puts them up needs to FOAD. I heard if you scribble on top of one of the sumo wrestlers, curses you. Anyone else notice it's almost impossible to get the darn things off? Saw my first one today. Stop upping these, Anon. There's a crap ton of them in your image search. I actually saw one of these stickers talking once. It was yelling Dosukoi. I don't know what that means. Maybe I just said a filthy, filthy word. Time for your meds, Grandpa. Somebody make a little map on these lists of all their locations. You'll be at it for years. So if you go to Shibuya, you get by sumo wrestlers, right? I don't understand the sluts that go to Shibuya to enjoy that. They should just put up a bunch of cute anime girl stickers instead, like Honada or Sigara-tan. Hey, Sigara-tan. Then all the otaku dorks should move to from Akihabara to Shibuya. I vote for Kimi Yamahagatsu. I feel pressure coming from Ryogoku. This is my prophecy unto you. Someday we'll see Sumo Judge sticker. 192. True dat. That's for that one. So 192 is to reference a former chat line. Kamiyama Hagatsu. Hangetsu. Kamiyami Hangetsu. Okay. That looks like it's all of it. Interesting. Oh, it actually scrolls me down, and then. Okay.
歴史シールのごく一部で話題になっているくらいのものでしかなかった。
At this point, only a few people were talking.
一体誰が予想できる？こんな気味の悪いシールが、後に世界を揺るがす大事件のきっかけになるだなんてこと。
Oh, interesting. So the stickers are some kind of herald, maybe, or they're part of delusions,
こ
or
れが
maybe.
今月の7日に起きた事件の週刊誌の特集の画像。
So maybe, like, because remember the whole idea about like utilizing or deploying delusions is about like occupying like blind spots of people. I wonder if these stickers are ways to maybe like influence people subconsciously, or they could just be a person practicing making delusions, like real booting delusions into reality by popping these stickers up and kind of like I can see someone using that as a practice. I personally, I feel like you'd need to practice to use delusions properly, especially in a intense manner. So it's magazine articles about the incident that occurred on the 7th.
7日ってニコニア生放送中の公開自殺か。読んだよ、その記事。
So which one's Taku?
自殺と決まったわけじゃないけどな。それにネットではこっちみんなって言い方が主流になってきてる。で、これがその生放送の映像。
The don't look case. Ugh.
それも見た。つうか一緒に見ただろう。
He's like, wait, we would do that together.
で、これがその現場の建物。尾上が昨日さらに追加してきた。
それも知ってるって。
で、これがその部屋の中。
は？うっそ！お前撮ったの？いつ？てかどうやって？
Yeah, how'd that happen? Until then, Itou had been disinterestedly pointing his camera at the colorful decorations in the hallway, but this got his attention. Of course it did. No one else had these pictures yet.
先週末な。現場向かいのカラオケボックスの5階の部屋から見えるんだよ。
That's not creepy at all.
マジで？
この5階から。
And this is the 5th floor. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell from this angle. You could always count on him to be interested when it came to new information.
で、何？お前一人で入ったのか？
は？
いやいや、カラオケボックスに。人から？
仕方ないだろ。別に恥ずかしいことじゃない。それに歌ったわけじゃないから、正確には人からとは言わない。
You're oddly defensive for it not being embarrassing. Uh-huh. To be honest, I was a little embarrassed. This guy the guy at the counter, who probably was just a part-timer, stared at me suspiciously. Maybe I'd attract his attention by coming in during the middle of the day in my uniform. And since I'd been there before, he made me... I had never been there before, he made me fill out a membership paperwork. I didn't know how to do it, so I took a long time. And actually, I've never been to karaoke places before in my life.
よし、ここは OK。次行こうぜ。
I've never been to like a formal karaoke place. I don't think that that's much of a thing outside of like Japan. There are karaoke nights at some bars and stuff, and I've done that once. And then other times we've done karaoke nights, like in college, where we would just pull out a karaoke machine and just jam out for like a little get together. I wouldn't call it a party because it wasn't a party. It was mostly like just coming together and bringing like our cheap food and dishes together and just kind of hanging out, playing games and stuff. Yeah. So I'm guessing he's part of that club too, that we are. We went over to the gym for the second floor hallway. It was filled with students laughing over who knows what. The whole school was getting ready for the cultural festival next week. This year's festival is supposed to be a big one. Hikiko Academy was the first private high school built as part of the restoration effort, so it was attracting a lot of attention. All right, back to the tips we go. This time the tips are working because this is my actual first time playing, and I've triple checked. Everything's working, so no more crappy having to record 2 times. All right, Hikiko Academy, a private academy in Udagawacho, Shibuya. Hikiko is a mid-sized academy academy composed of both middle and high school, with over 1,000 students total. Its construction was proposed as part of the reconstruction project after the November 2009 Shibuya earthquake, and in April 2012, it was completed. The school is small, but is well equipped with brand new state-of-the-art facilities, and the students generally love it. That's crazy. This is considered a small school. My high school graduating class was about 300. Actually, I can see that being a high small school, because let's say it's it has just over 1,000 students, but it's middle and high school. So that's basically 6 grades worth of classes. 6 grades worth of classes divided by, to 1,000 would actually come out to about 200 change students per class. So that is kind of small, actually. So this school, technically, despite being in the middle of one of the most, populous places on the planet, has school graduation classes smaller than my high school when I grew up in a town of 50 to 70,000 people. That actually is small. At first it didn't sound small, but realizing that it has probably grades 6 through 12, that's actually pretty tiny. One reason why everyone was so excited for the school fair was the school's lax rules, with lots of clubs and activities. But the biggest reason was the Shibuya Peace and Restoration Festival 2 months from now. 2 months from now, on November 6th, it would mark the 6 years since the Shibuya earthquake. The 5-year anniversary fair last year had affected the whole town. And since the school was in Shibuya too, it would include us. We were just a simple high school, but now our cultural festival is being treated as a prelude to the big one. And supposedly there would be TV cameras filming the day of the event.
うわ、あのパチモンの着ぐるみ大丈夫かよ。つかなんで今着てんだ?
Okay, can you copyright costumes? Isn't that the whole point of cosplay? Is you recreate a costume from a show? Can you get in trouble for that? I definitely don't think you can in America, but maybe in Japan you can. That's crazy if that's true. You can't make your own costumes. Itou turned toward the camera toward a group of people pretending to be pro wrestlers. Okay, maybe pro wrestlers is different. I don't know though. I still feel like it's you can dress up as your favorite pro wrestler, right? Itou and I were on the newspaper club, and it was our job to record the festivities. The principal had ordered that all the clubs to participate in the cultural festival, and recording the festival is our way of getting by without having to do much work. The nice thing is, it's so funny. I was in the newspaper club at high school as well. I would write a lot of news beats. I did interviews, and I also would just kind of cover some basics. I think I tried to do a couple opinion pieces, but they never quite had the flair to catch the attention of the editor-in-chief, so unfortunately, I just wasn't that. I think part of the problem is I wasn't provocative enough. I wasn't willing to tackle really divisive opinions because I tend to be a compromiser. I tend to look at both sides, see the good in both, and want to find something in the middle. And some people call that being a fence sitter. I find it being, effective, but it doesn't make for great opinions. Recording videos and taking photos was my hobby. More than anything, it seemed like the way that would demand I burn the fewest calories. Dude, come on. I couldn't see myself participating in any of the usual festival nonsense, like the basketball team's fried basketball ice cream stand, which was probably just regular fried ice cream in a ball. Well, yeah, but that's kind of what makes it fun. Or the pro wrestling research club's mascot pro wrestling, or even the seance that the mystery club and fortune telling club were putting on together. That's a little strange.
暇なんだろ.
Sorry, I think I'm worried getting a cold or something. They probably just want to have anything better to do. Damn.
ヒゲを引っ張んなってもげる。
はあ、これ触覚じゃないの？
どう思うよ。触覚だとしたらもいだ方がゆるキャラっぽくないか？
What?
え？何？私、そのくだらない質問に答えなきゃダメ？
Weird.
くそ。リア充め。ただれろ。死んでしまえ。
Hey, there's some old Takubi attitude we've been missing. Is that what they're gonna do? They're gonna make the super cringy guy this Itou guy? That'd be kind of funny. Die in a fire? Sure.
おい、リア充をバカにするなよ。僕だってリア充だ。
No, you're not.
は？あ、バカ、カメラ。
Oh, jeez. He dropped it. That thing's expensive.
おい、どういうことだ?
Oh, he's gonna be like, what? Did you get a girlfriend?
苦しい。カメラ。 裏切ったのか。レベル下がったか。いつ彼女なんて作りやがった。
Dude, what kind of a friend wouldn't be thrilled if your best friend got a girlfriend? I know you'd feel maybe a little bitter on the inside because, like, you'd want a girlfriend, but, like, you can't be talking about he's betraying you unless you have a crush on him.
できてないよ彼女なんてそれよりカメラ
何
He's so pissed off. I slipped out of Itou's grasp and picked up the camera. Wait, okay, that's the button that does that. Looks like it's safe. Good. I relaxed and handed the camera back to Itou.
まったくしっかりしろよ僕らはあいつらと違って状況だろ一石舞踏か
Right-siders. That's gonna be opposite of the wrong-siders. Someone on the right side of the digital information divide. A right-sider has the necessary skills and environment to make use of information and communication technology such as the internet, allowing them to quickly find, share, and receive high-quality information.
いいかリア充ってのは2005年あたりから使われ出した言葉でリアルつまり現実が充実している連中の総称だ最初は対義語としてネト銃が挙げられることが多かったけどその境目はもうほとんどないリアルの中にネットが組み込まれてるのが当たり前になったからな
That's actually what I was just about to say is this idea is like it's kind of weird that they're still trying to draw these lines because like frankly right side or wrong siders like everyone uses the internet so now it's not but like that's the idea he's trying to say the distinction has not been people have like a normal social life versus people who exist on the net and utilize it to its full capabilities now it's like everyone uses the net but some people use it for stupid things where other people use it for smart things you could argue that the new version would be people who utilize AI. Well, first of all, we should all recognize that like AI databases are very toxic when they are used when they're taught using models that are stealing content and things from other people, which is just gross. And I feel like we all still talk about it, but nothing ever came about it, which sucks. I feel like it should have. But regardless of that, like there's people who choose to just like use AI for goofy stuff, like make dumb like videos or pictures or to like just like write up random like pieces and other people actually utilize it to try and improve things like their lives, their careers, their resumes, or even deeper. Like there's claims that you can use it to just build an automated business, but I'm dubious of that because it seems like those are people who are trying to sell you a course, which 90% of the time is basically a scam, where they're going to tell you information in like a flashy way that you could have just learned yourself by like looking on the internet. So right-siders or wrong-siders is basically people who use the internet for like surface level on the wrong side just for basic entertainment. And then right-siders who understand like how to dig deeper, how to look for good sources, how to actually parse through like the mire of misinformation and actually start like looking for things like evidence-based, fact-based, like proper accreditation, I'd say. Like if you, I think one of the best skills anyone could learn, and especially in today's age, is how to follow up on the sources of information for any article, especially if it's claiming a scientific thing. It's not that hard. It just takes a little bit of practice, and it gives you a good, healthy dose of skepticism, so you don't just believe everything you see.
当初は友達がいるだけでリア充と呼ばれていたけど次第に恋人がいることがリア充の条件になっていっただがこれも変わりつつある
Okay, so first it was just friends, that's depressing. Then it became having a lover.
昨今のリア充は本当の意味で現実が充実しているかどうかつまりやりたいことができているかどうかで判断されるんだそういう意味で僕はリア充だ
Okay, I can see your argument there. Interesting. Ironically though, I would say truly, especially like after college, the definition of normie would apply to almost nobody. The only people I know it might apply to often still complain about the fact that their life is hard in some way or another. Like, I look at other content creators. Like, I look at people who make, YouTube videos and gaming videos for a living. And, like, a lot of them are great, thankfully understand that, like, they're in a very, like, they're in a position that is very, very, like, precious and something that they treasure. But you'll still sometimes see, like, occasional creators pop up and tell you, like, man, my life is so hard. You don't understand how hard it is. It's like, yeah, I understand it takes work and effort because it's a job. Any job takes work and effort to do. But you cannot, for the life of me, sit there and actually think that doing something like not like working 40 hours a week doing like a high labor intensive job or a mind numbingly depressing job where you have to listen and be belittled by your higher ups is at all somehow easier than what you do, or that your job is somehow on par with that. That's just no.
だから暇に任せてふざけているあいつらはリア充なんかじゃないんだよ。言葉は正しく使え。
Okay. Seriously, he needs to be careful. Just being a wrong-sider by itself is a sin these days. To you? Itou's like, alright, dude. After I finished my lecture, I saw that Itou was staring at me wordlessly. What, did he not understand it? I'd walked him through the entire etymology.
宮代
Yeah.
なんだよ。
お前はリア充じゃないよ。言葉は正しく使おうな。
I tend to agree, but sure. Huh?
なぜだ。
リア充はそんなこと言わない。
Normies don't talk like that.
は？だからなんでだ。それに補強するなら女子の知り合いもいるんだぞ。もちろん男も。
I tell you, I'm a normie. I know a woman. They exist. I talk to them occasionally.
だからリア充はそんなこと言わないんだよ。
No, they definitely don't.
理由はなんだ。理由はさらに付け加えるならな。
Yeah. I quickly swallowed my words.
ファッションの勉強だってしているんだ。
Oh. Wait, you're saying fashion is a decade, like almost 2 decades old. That's not going to teach you fashion. I'd read the newest issue of Cool Cat before I put it away. There's an article in it called Utsunomiya's Fashion Leader. I thought it looked pretty good. Oh gosh, if I could wear that stuff, I'm sure. Yeah, okay, so Glasses Dude is Taku in this one. I mean, that's fine, I guess, but okay, let's take a peek at this. This almost doesn't look right, because it's like the pattern of the tie is part of the seam of the button-up shirt. It's like up here, it looks like it's part of the fabric going around his neck, and then it goes down here, and it looks like it's being drawn as if it's a tie underneath the shirt. Is that just, so that's gotta be like a pattern on the shirt's like seam itself, which is weird, because if it's not, then I would almost guess that this is somehow an AI generated picture, because for some reason that just looks wrong. Am I crazy? And I don't think it's AI, because it's like this game came out like 2015 or something, right?
ん？なんだよ。
なんでもない。とにかく僕はな。
ああ、わかったって。次行こうぜ。
As he walked away, I turned my eyes toward the group of mascot pro wrestlers.
わかった。
Oh, wait a minute.
じゃあもう全員で同じ着ぐるみにしようぜ。
I was gonna say, like, mascot pro wrestlers, at the same time, I thought, like, I was figuring they were wearing, like, those cheesy mascot outfits, like the stuff you see running around at sports events and stuff. But maybe the mascot is implying, like a specific wrestling character specifically, and that look could be, like, that look would only be, but I still feel like that wouldn't be a problem to wear unless you were, like, producing a show that was gonna charge money. If you're producing a show that's going to charge money and you're dressed up in a very specific style that's supposed to emulate the specific look of a specific wrestler, that I could see being protected by copyright. And that's because you're making money. Now, I think if you're trying to raise money at a school festival for like club activities in your school, like specifically, I don't think it would still be a problem, or at least I don't see that one being one that like a company would enforce, really, unless you are specifically making their wrestler looks like bad, like making fun of them or something. But I don't know. People could be weird.
ああ、戦隊もの風だ。色分けしようよ。私イエロー。
Sentai Rangers, yeah. She wants to be yellow. Yellow's a pretty good one. I'll be the Blue Ranger.
その方が受け取れるか。でも予算は？
あんたの小遣いがあるじゃん。
バカじゃないの？
それか、体に直接塗るか。受け取れればいいんでしょ？
Are you saying you're gonna go commando with paint covering you? No. Huh. I guess you could cover your face. Like you could paint your face a color. Stop looking at that. Holy
お
cow,
帰りな
these
さいま
skirts.
せご主人様ケロン。
Caron, who's that? But these skirts, holy crap. I feel like this is only something you see in like anime and stuff because there's no way that's even closely functional length of skirt. Holy crap.
可愛くなくね？もうちょっとどうにかなんね。
可愛くないとか言うな。てか別にウエトレスって女子限定じゃなくてもいいじゃん。男子もやんなよ。
Waitresses too?
ゲロカエルンってあんな語尾で喋るキャラクターだったっけ？
Itou, I just finished recording the things the goings on in the classroom. Oh, delusion time. All right. So there's
どうでもいいよ。
is there two different ways we could take this? Last time I did a positive. I think we're gonna try a negative. I want to see kind of how these play out. At least get a feel for them at this stage. This was the class 3-1. Itou was in my class. Most of the class was busy with the Garo Froggy Cafe we were doing for the festival. Some people were ignoring the fuss and studying. Some of the otaku were reading light novels. Did they really think that they left the paper covers in the bookstore on it? We couldn't tell it was a light novel? They were just trying their best to stay out of the way. Most people were happily making Ghetto Froggy decorations or putting on Ghetto Froggy costumes and messing about. So yeah, like the Ghetto Froggy thing must still be a thing, even though Onoa like had a old Ghetto Froggy. Like the fact that they're making a Ghetto Froggy cafe means it's still probably it's like this world's version of Hello Kitty. Oh gosh, do you think Hello Kitty was founded by a cult? If that's like a direct reference, like that'd be horrifying. All the clubs had to participate in the festival, but so did all the classes. No one had told me, but evidently several months ago we decided to do Ghetto Froggy themed cafe. Wait, so what are you supposed to do though? If you're in a club and you're also in like in a classroom, are you supposed to do two events at once? Because that's gonna pull everyone in so many different directions. Also, by the way, it's really faint, but this poster in the back says "Be your best you," which is interesting.
バカ。ゲロカエルンの声は女じゃん。
Oh, okay.
いやそうだけどさ。
そこは文化祭のノリ的なあれでいいじゃん別に。
That's true. She's got a point, and it doesn't like it really doesn't make sense that the boys are being lazy in this regard. The only way it makes sense is if the girls are gonna all be the waitresses, so it stays on theme, then the boys have to be there to fully support as the kitchen staff.
違うっての。
は？
Itou tilted his head in confusion. Our Taku seems to be a stickler for getting things exactly
そう
right.
だゲロゲロ。
Green Ghetto Froggy?
俺たちそんな話し方じゃないゲロ。
Oh.
カエルなめんなゲロ。
Suddenly, all the Ghetto Froggies in the classroom stood up on their own. There was easily more than 30 of them. It took me a second to process what I was seeing, but who could blame me? Who wouldn't be surprised if a bunch of Ghetto Froggy dolls started walking around on their own free will? The next thing we knew, we were surrounded. We were like frogs in the clutches of a hungry snake, or maybe humans in the clutches of angry frogs? Kermit's coming to get us.
何これ？ぬいぐるみが喋ってる。
なんだこれ？キモい。超ウケる。
俺たちをバカにする奴らは許さんゲロ。
目にもの見せてやるゲロ。
Oh boy.
血で血を洗う惨劇の始まりだゲロ。
Their eyes weren't smiling. This felt really bad.
ああ、クソカエルのぬいぐるみの分際でなんだって？
One of my classmates carelessly approached the green Ghetto Froggy.
おい、よせ。
しゃー
Oh, lovely. It was too late. The green Ghetto Froggy launched itself like a missile at his mouth and forced its way down his throat. Then it ripped its way out of his stomach from the inside. Holy crap, it's a freaking chest burster!
俺の腹が
Something long, pink, and glistening slid out from the gaping hole in his stomach. That's when the screaming began. No one escaped the classroom alive. The Ghetto Froggies showed no mercy. They indiscriminately slaughtered both boys and girls. And I was the least lucky of them all. I was the last survivor. If only they'd killed me sooner, I wouldn't have had to piss myself in despair, trapped in the classroom where the walls were covered in blood and guts and brains. I wouldn't have had to see my classmates die.
お前は実験台にしてやるゲロ。
Oh no.
人間パペットだゲロ。
俺たちがお前の中に入って操ってやるゲロ。
やめてくれ。
すぐ楽になるから安心しろだゲロ。
The pain will end soon. Ugh. The green frog leapt toward my mouth. A huge wet lump forced its way down my windpipe and inside of me. I should have chewed off my own tongue and died that way with a frog in my throat. But it was too late for regrets now. Ugh. That's likely something out of the cheesy horror movie. Wrongsiders these days prefer big budget action movies. Something like this world would never sell to them. I erased the stupid simulation from my mind and decided to get back on topic. I took out my Pokecom and showed it to Itou. Oh.
で、
Oh.
これが今月の19日の事件の画像。
Okay, so the girl we saw covered in clothing that had strange eyes and really long hair wasn't her. This is the girl who would sing, and it looks like she just sat down and sung until her fingers bled and she died.
音漏れたんか。
Audio
どれ
bleed.
お、これはまだ見てないな。どこで拾った？
I want to casually point out she's wearing basically this world's version of Converse, which is disturbing enough as it is too.
事件のまとめウィキに一瞬な。消される前に魚拓取った。
Yeah, so I know what scraped is, but yeah, so Wiki, a site usually uses wiki software to compile information about a particular subject in an easy-to-read manner. Anytime the internet starts talking about something, you can be sure people will start making a wiki for it. Wiki software is an online system for creation and compilation of hypertext documents on the web server. The name comes from the Hawaiian phrase wiki-wiki, which means speedy, and in scraping, the process of extracting or saving data from a website on the internet. Amazingly, people have a good sense for this kind of stuff, because when people upload a video on YouTube that turns out to be embarrassing or just incredibly unsettling or just disrespectful, somebody scrapes it because they'll usually take it down and somebody will re-upload it. It's amazing.
ああ、こっちの方がアングルいいな。なあ、さっきのカラオケのやつと合わせてニヤ動にアップさせてくれよ。
Yeah, okay.
もう新聞部のオンラインストレージに上げてある。見やすいように加工して使ってくれ。
Oh, interesting. Cloud storage, type of web service offers server-side storage space for users. This type of service is offered by multiple companies, both free and paid. The one used by Miyashiro and the Newspaper Club is the largest free service available, offering up to 7 gigabytes of space. That's definitely Dropbox. That's absolutely Dropbox.
なんか最近再生数がいまいち伸びないんだよな。この前俺一人で作った動画のタグにもカメラ仕事しろとかアングル大体合ってないとか書かれるし。
Tagged? What do you mean tagged in a video? In this context, it refers to the word or key phrase that classifies a video on Nikonia. So Nikonia is probably the YouTube then. Like you can live stream on it, but it also is like a place where you archive videos. In addition to classification, it's used to allow for easier searches for videos. For example, the user searches for tags, cameraman do your darn job, the user will find videos with that tag on them. There are many unique tags in Nikonian, such as do your darn job, TL too long didn't watch, epic blank, epic blank, a wild blank appeared, funny ending, perfect timing, opened my eyes, etc. Okay, this tagging system is actually kind of cool because on YouTube you can set your own tags. It started off with just the normal tags feature that you use for any Google-based SEO type production. You could a lot of YouTubers then eventually learned that you were best served by putting those same tags in the description of the video because of the YouTube algorithm started focusing on descriptions keywords rather than on the tags because tags could be easily misleading. But nowadays, like both of those don't seem to matter as much anymore because of the AI and like the audio type. They use audio detection to be able to parse out what your videos are made of and what the context tends to be. This idea of being of like watchers being able to set tags is really interesting because you could use a consensus. The downside being that memes tags like cameraman do your job or a wild blank appears like can override tags that are useful to find. But I think that concept is very cool, and that probably means that this is a video uploading program that's specific to Japan, because I've never seen a tag system like that before, besides like Steam does something like that a little bit for their games, but even then it's not quite to that level. I would love to know more about that someday though, because that sounds like an interesting system. I personally would like to see more of something like that, because I feel like it would be more contextual than than whatever YouTube does in the background, except for the fact that YouTube systems, they keep kind of secret, so it's harder for people to break the system and manipulate it to promote themselves far beyond what would be normal. Itou looked really upset. Well, I knew how he felt. The Hekiko Academy Newspaper Club had been the first in the nation to upload a video version of the school paper to Nikkoniya. Our paper has dealt with anything involving Shibuya. We'd done a special on the Shibuya restoration once the local paper had written about it. We won a special prize at the city journalism contest, and the video had received over 80,000 views despite being boring as heck. After that though, I could understand being upset at the fact that our new videos dealing with ongoings in Shibuya weren't breaking 2 digits. They weren't breaking 2 digits. You're not even getting 10 views? Aw, that sucks.
ああ、カメラ仕事しろのタグをつけたのは僕だ。あれアングルひどいぞ。
Betrayal!
じゃーん、ゲットしてきた。
Oh, who's this?
おお、オリジナルじゃん。
疲れた。
A boyfriend and girlfriend walked in, evidently back from shopping. Their arms were full of ghetto froggy stuffed animals.
だから違うっての。
はいえ、だから何がだよ。
Itou hadn't noticed then. I looked at my classmates who were all beginning to play with their new toys and said,
前も話したことあったろ。大半の中高生は日頃アクセスしてるサイトで情報レベルが知れるって。
uh-huh. This was a personal theory of mine. Yeah, I'm sure it is. Feels super unspecific. Smartphones and Pokecoms have become the religion of the modern teenager, and the information they gained from these portable terminals had a huge influence on their lives. Alright, so what is this Pokecom? A tablet-style mobile device with 7-inch high-definition screen. Okay, so it is like its official name is a phone droid. Instead of an iPhone or an Android, it's a phone droid, what's colloquially known as Japan as a Pokecom, despite having nothing to do with the pocket computer that was released in the 1980s. Beginning in 2012, the Pokecom had gone so much more popular worldwide, it is expected to someday replace smartphones, offer multiple applications such as video calls and internet browsing, TV, games, microblogging apps, and camera. It's said that the option to make phone calls will be implemented soon as well. So these are tablets. I think when they did come out, I think 2012 was when tablets really started actually appearing in the market space. They were rumored they were going to replace the phones because phones are already kind of starting to do that trend where the group got bigger and bigger and bigger. But I feel like we all came to understand and agree that if it can't fit in your pocket, it's not convenient. So we stuck with phones. Even though phones can barely fit in our pockets these days, they still can. Some people only look at SNSs like Twippo, Ryan, and Facebook. That almost hurts to say. Others that channel and Nikkoniya. SNS is going to be social networking service. A service that offers the opportunity to join a virtual society that exists on the internet, often used to refer to any site or application that allows users to create a profile, send messages, connect other users, and build a community. As of 2015, there are several hundred publicly available SNSs, and if you include all software that allows for basic communication between users, it becomes a truly incredible number. Over 60% of Japanese population uses some kind of SNS, and it's said that over half of them use more than one. It's considered normal for most people to use SNSs, and there are even some users who get so tired and burned out of it from the time they spend on them that they quit the sites altogether, which is good. Then Facebook, type of social networking service, requires user's real name. On this site, users create and publish profile pages, allow them to easily connect with others that share similar interests. As 2015, there are over 1.4 billion users worldwide, making it the world's biggest social network. Ryan. So this is Facebook, this is Line, and this is Twippo. It's supposed to be Twitter, probably. Yeah, it's definitely Twitter. So Ryan, social networking service, instant message application that can be used on smartphones or PCs, can communicate with others using free via voice call or texting, and as long as both users have the application installed. As of 2015, the service has over 400 million users worldwide. And Twippo, now named X. The micro-blocking social networking service, the posts known as tweeps, are limited to 140 full-width characters, such as Japanese characters, or 280 half-width characters, such as English letters. Following a user on Twippo will cause that user's tweets to appear on your timeline, and users can send private messages as well. As of 2015, there are nearly 300 million registered users worldwide. Some looked at all those sites as well as the links they found there. And some looked at all those things and as well as their favorite celebrity blogs or the big at-channel aggregators, and then whatever humor sites were popular at the moment. All these people were wrong-siders. And the scary thing was that these days, 9 out of 10 wrong-siders were teenagers. Gyro Froggy launched 6 years ago on the cell phone strap, which got popularity for reasons no one ever understood. And then lately, a combination of Gyro Froggy memes on Twippo, as well as the amateur anime posted on to Nikonyan, if I remembered right, was a talking, dancing frog singing anime themes. Had created a fad, though I hate to use the word for something so stupid. Okay, so maybe it's not a Hello Kitty analogy. Maybe it's... Could it be Hatsune Miku, maybe? Because Hatsune Miku... Well, no, she started the Vocaloid thing, and that just became really popular. So it'd be something that started out as a collectible that became a more digital presence. Not sure exactly what that would be a reference to in real life. I'm sure there's plenty of examples, though. It amazed me that people honestly believe that the rabbit sounds made by that female actress in those videos were from the original. The ribbit sounds, sorry, not rabbit sounds. Or the original was a stuffed animal that had come out recently, not the phone strap. My guess is that they only got that information from Twippo.
それに、男の場合はウェイトレスじゃなくてウェイターだっての。
Yeah, okay, this guy is he's the actually guy. This is one of the reasons I joined the newspaper club. I didn't want to end up like them. Now, I will say, I was never an actually person. I did like knowing stuff, and I do like knowing stuff, but I'm still stupid. But I thought the newspaper club was a great place because not only was it full of great people, but it was also a good opportunity to practice writing, which is what my passion really is. I love writing. I want to be a writer someday. I'm always working on some kind of project. Most of my energy gets put into running tabletop RPGs nowadays because that's a fun way I can do it in digestible bites. And letting it and play and doing stuff with friends is always really good. But the newspaper club was also really good because it taught me a lot about more professional writing and such. Anyway.
宮代くん?
Oh, is that us? Yes. A girl, evidently one of the in charge of the waitresses, was talking to me. Uh-oh. Who is she again? Fujita-san? Fujimoto-san? I think there was a Fuji.
何田中さん
Tanaka. Way off! Yeah, this dude is like me, though. I'm terrible with people's names. Tanaka, I was totally wrong.
さ、教室で流す映像のビデオ撮影のことなんだけどさ。
Oh, okay. What is she talking about? Oh, right. They were going to make their own version of the Nico Nia videos. They were where they wore costumes and danced.
アップとかできるのかな？こう、ずっと同じで撮るんじゃなくて。
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. If you're going to make an interesting dancing video, you'd want to have multiple shots. But if you have limited access to your recording equipment, well, ideally you'd already have a few, I'd say if you're going to film something like this, you'd want to have 3 cameras in 3 different positions, but you'd also want to do the get up at least 4 or 5 takes, probably more if you wanted to make it really polished. And each time you do a different take, you reposition the cameras, some doing close range shots, some doing far away shots, and then you get all that aggregate footage and you splice it together in the most dynamic and interesting way you can. What? Is she telling me to do what to do? What to do? I didn't volunteer to videotape it. You guys forced me. Well, it's better than being told to dance or make props myself. Oh my gosh, this dude. He's like, oh, I'm so confident. I know all these things. But he talks to a female and he's like, except, oh no, he talked to her fine, but of course she's super familiar with her.
そのフィックスじゃなくていろいろ動かせっていうことですか
a fix, but of course the fix is video recording or acts of fixing a camera in a single place and recording without moving it. But like fixes are really good. Like you'd want to have a good amount of fixes because unless you have a gyroscopic boom or a boom arm that can keep a camera steady during movement, it's gonna look really kind of shaky cam, and like that you can make that work, but for something like this, I don't think it would. You'd want to have fixed, but you just want to have multiple angles, and you'd want to do multiple takes.
フィックス？よくわかんないけど。
できますよ。アップでもなんでも。
This dude, I feel bad for him, man. In his head, he's this like right-sider, intelligent, brilliant. Like he knows the right answers to things. He knows how to gather good information. But man, socially, he could just tell he's just a freaking, he's got 3 left feet and 2 of them are on his hands.
本当？よかった。じゃあ本番までにどこをどう撮ってほしいかまとめて渡すから。
Takuna's got things set up good. She's even giving him like a workup, which is really good because then he knows how to what they want going in. And then she fled. He's like gasping. That surprised me. Don't scare me like that. I was so nervous, I was sweating a little. Itou looked at me and sighed. Yeah, dude, you are definitely not a normie. What?
お前やっぱリア充じゃないわ。
Exactly. What?
相変わらず慣れない相手だと挙取るし、丁寧語だし。
しょうがないだろ。いきなりだったんだから。
Yeah, that's what people do. They sometimes just walk up to you. It's annoying, but yeah. And what's more, I made it a policy not to talk to anyone unless it was necessary. This is the first time in quite a while I'd spoken to anyone of my classmates but Itou.
どうだった？
なんか自慢されてなかった？フィックスとかなんとか。
Oh, they interpret his stammering, like barely coherent sentences where he used a word you didn't understand as bragging? What world are you living in, people?
んだそれ。またうんちくか？
They'd already started spreading meaningless information. Stop it. Hearing whispers about me in the classroom brought back bad memories. I was starting to have a hard time breathing. Man, I really feel for this dude.
おい、大丈夫か？
I must have looked like I was in pain because Itou was looking at me with concern on his face. I quickly nodded to show I was fine.
陰口は聞こえないように言えってのな。しかも自慢でもうんちくでもなんでもないっての。
Yeah, exactly.
別に気にしてないよ。藤田さんは。
Uh-huh.
誰だよ。
田中さんは情弱なだけなんだから。
Okay, so wrong-sider is where you categorize everybody who doesn't get you. That's right. It wasn't worth worrying about. She was just ignorant. Itou looked over at the other classmates who were having fun.
たく、オポチュニストが。
Obdurate. What is that word? Okay, I've never heard of that word before. Like, not even like remotely. There's plenty of times where I'll see a word and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I've heard of that word, but I have no idea what it is. But I'm not sure that's a real word. Obdurate, stubbornly refusing to change one's opinion or course of action. Okay, but so are you two. Especially Taku. He so far is being presented with potential information that maybe he needs to change his behavior, and he's just like, nope, they're just wrong-siders. Obdurate? Uh-oh. What did that mean again? I knew I'd heard it before. I hadn't even heard it before. I ran to search my Pokecon, making sure not to let Itou see. Obdurate, stubbornly refusing to change out of a lack of pity or remorse, ruthless. Okay, it's a little more on the nose, but again, this is probably a Japanese translation. So they probably found a similar synonym in English, which is interesting because like I'd love to know, like I wish I could talk to the translator about this line, like what was the original line in the word that they used here? Because I'm guessing it was also like a uncommonly used Japanese word, but I wonder how close to the meaning they got. Like, because this is like slightly different, but like, because like it adds like a level of emotion to the action rather than just like a stubbornness internally. It's a stubbornness externally, like a rejection out of pity or remorse. So like I'm guessing that's more in line and closely tied to the definition that was used for the Japanese word. But I'd love to know. If anyone happens to know, that'd be really cool because I find that stuff fascinating.
そうだな。言い当ててると思う。みんなと同じ方向にひよってるだけだよ。
まったくな。
Itou nodded, annoyed. Good. Looks like he didn't find out.
いつの時代もスクールカーストの底辺にいる俺らオタクは上部にいる方たちに話のネタを提供する運命なのか。
So he sees himself as an otaku, which this guy's probably gonna freak out about. Social hierarchy, a natural ranking system that develops among humans in a group environment. In this case, it's referring to the one that's formed between students in a school environment. Although it's impossible to define all the factors that go into determining each student's standing, attractiveness and romantic experience are known to be major factors in giving one a high rank, while those with otaku hobbies, as well as those who are shyer in nature, tend to fall in the lower end. There are, of course, many people who possess attributes from both the upper and lower classes, and one's final position in the hierarchy is determined by the general opinion of the school. The hierarchy is most commonly divided into the upper class, preps, jocks, and rich kids, middle class, average joes, and the lower class, nerds, otakus, and shy kids. Interestingly, if I were to pick my position when I was in school, I felt like I was in this lower class group, but I was actually in the middle class if I'm objective. Because I found as I've like talked about and shared like memories of school with friends and others, I had a lot of people who considered me friends. My list of friends was very short because for me, a friend was somebody whom I like had a very strong bond with. But what I consider most acquaintances, people will like consider me friends. The thing is, like, I spent time with many different groups of people. Like, I'd be invited to activities or parties or whatnot, and I never had trouble going to dances. Like, I usually had someone I either would ask to go to a dance or like go on a date. And then I, like, whenever they had the girls' choice dances, like Sadie Hawkins dance, I usually got asked. You know, like, were they always, like, with people whom I had, like, severe crushes on or, like, it turned into a romance or a date? No. But that didn't mean I didn't have those experiences. So I probably would be in that average Joe's category. Never was, like a leader or anything, but I also was not somebody who was dismissed or considered, like, beneath others. Heck, I remember when we had class representatives. Basically, every homeroom class had someone who would go and help participate in the with the student council presidents. So each homeroom had an elected council member, and I remember when our class, like, no one really volunteered to be the council member. So the teacher said, okay, how about we all just nominate somebody who you think would be good to represent us? And me and this girl were nominated, and then they cast a vote, and I won the vote as somebody to go and represent us to the student council. Like, do I think that meant I was like a popular upclass? Absolutely not. Like, but that placed me in this middle class area where it's like people were like, yeah, he's trustworthy, or like, yeah, he's got a good head on his shoulders. Like, let's send him out. It also was nice too because I was in the newspaper club. I was able to like float around between different clubs and classrooms because I could talk to people, and I absolutely used that to get out of classes that were really boring. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just deluding myself. Maybe I was just like bottom of that totem pole, and I just happened to have a very pleasant experience at the bottom. Hold it. The school's social hierarchy wasn't something I cared about, but...
Oi. 僕はオタクじゃないぞ。
Yeah, I had a feeling you were gonna say that.
またかよ。
Yeah, dude, you're like definition otaku.
またってなんだ。理屈に合わないことが気持ち悪いだけだ。一石。
No.
いい、ぶたなくていい。
Stop telling me things.
オタクの定義は流動していて、当初あった悪いイメージは徐々に払拭されつつあるけれど、2015年現在でもアニメやらラノベやらゲームやらアイドルやらにハマっている人のことを指す場合が大半だ。
I didn't realize idols was included as part of the otaku group. I saw a boy reading a light novel turn toward me, but I didn't care.
僕はくだらないアニメやラノベは見ない。時間の無駄だ。
Dude, no, here's the thing. You say you don't watch stupid anime or read stupid light novels. You read what you consider pristine, ambitious, advanced, and deep anime and light novels. you're still an otaku. Again, I said this in the first one, and I'll say it again. You're an elitist otaku. You're almost, sadly, one of the worst parts of otaku fandom, because you are the gatekeeping kind of otaku, where if somebody like wanted to start watching anime and they go into like a chat room to talk about anime they like, and the first thing they say is like, yeah, I've watched Attack on Titan. And that's like the only one they've watched. You'd be the person who goes in there and is like, come back when you've actually watched some real anime, man. You know, like that's who you are.
以前お前なんかのアニメを絶賛してなかったか？なんだっけ？ブラチュ？
Bloodtoon, huh?
くだらないアニメは見ないと言ったんだ。素晴らしきかな我が人生や二人のベロニカとかの名画を検索しようとすらせずに同じようなアニメばっか見て。
Movies like The Double Life of Veronica or It's My Wonderful Life. Is that supposed to be a spoof of It's a Wonderful Life? Because that's crazy. The Double Life of Veronica, a joint production between France and Poland, directed by Krzysztof Kowalski, chronicles the lives of two girls, both named Veronica, who are born in two different countries. The scene on the bus is a must-see, a masterpiece. I don't know anything about what that's supposed to be a spoof of. And It's My Wonderful Life, an American movie directed by Blank Capra and released in 1946. The film tells the story of a life of a man and a strange miracle he encountered on Christmas Eve. The climax of the movie and the main character runs through the city is truly unforgettable. In America, it's a quintessential Christmas movie, a timeless classic. Yes, it is. It's a Wonderful Life is one of the greatest movies you could ever watch. It definitely shows its age, but it's such a positive message, and genuinely, like, especially if I get into the zone, I'm like watching it intently and not distracted by something. It's the kind of movie that brings a tear to your eye, because like watching the struggle of a man who, like, because his whole story is that he has a very successful life in every margin you could conceive of, but the things he always wanted to be and do always got pushed aside. His entire life is a story about how when circumstances changed, or when people needed help, or when his family needed support, he made sacrifices to help them, you know, doing whatever he needed to do to make things work. Big parts of this were things like, because I just watched it because it was Christmas. We watched it for Christmas this year. Like, he does things like he saves up a bunch of money to go to college, and specifically to take a trip. He wanted to go and like see some places around the world and go to college. Like, he worked his butt off to save up enough money to do both these things. Right before he goes on his trip, like something happens at home and his family needs him to stay behind. And because he has to stay behind, he ends up taking over the family business to keep them floating. He takes the extra money and pays for his brother to go to college, because his brother wants to go to college but doesn't have any funds. He's got the funds but doesn't have time. So he lets his brother go to college instead of him, and he just stays home running the business, and like I think it's like a bank, like a local lending office. And then the war starts up, and he can't serve in the war because I think he has like either a medical problem or something. Like, he gets like deaf in one ear because of like a swimming accident. Oh no, he saves his brother from a swimming accident when they were children. And in the process, he ends up puncturing his eardrum, and he can't hear in one ear, which means he's disqualified from the draft, so he doesn't go to serve in the war. But his brother gets drafted, and so he goes and serves in the war. And so he's back home, you know, doing everything he can to support his brother, to support the war effort. His brother comes home from war, not only a war hero, but with a wife. And like, it's just like this whole thing where like his brother kind of gets to, like, enjoys all of his generosity. And then eventually he has like the business starts going downhill. He's being like hounded on, and then as a bank, they lose like thousands of dollars. And he like decides that he's a failure at life, that nothing matters to him, and that he wants to end things. And the whole story is about him realizing how much joy and happiness he brings to other people, and how much he'd be missed if he weren't there. It's such a good story. Why am I telling you about this story? I guess I'm thinking that there's a slight chance that some of you might have never seen the movie, and you should see the movie, despite the fact it's that old. Man, I'm Taku! Fetch! Oh no! I'm just this dude! No! Oh man. Maybe I'm a better, more balanced talker, but man. I can't believe I just went on that huge rant not realizing that I'm doing exactly what he does. Oh, fetch me. Oh, maybe this is a wake-up call.
このアニメを見てないやつはにわかだとか言ったり。
わかったって。
数列都市や冬の庭とかの名著。ああ、いいよねとか嘘ついて済ませてラノベばっか読んでいる。
Transmutation City, or what are you talking about? So, The Fiends, a novella published in 1992 by Kazumi Yuki, depicts a relationship between 3 6th grade boys and a senior citizen who lives alone, translated into different languages all over the world, adapted into a movie and stage play as well. A book you'd want to read when you're the same age as the young boys. I don't know what that's a reference to. And then Transmutation City, a lengthy hard science fiction novel written by Greg Morgan in 1994. The book's told from a perspective of a human who comes to live inside a virtual world, and it proves the extensive lens into his view on immorality. The detailed theories and progression throughout the book make the novel a must-read. I have no idea what these are referencing. Maybe I've heard of them, but like they've changed the names, and I have no idea what they actually are.
そういう自分の好きな知識しか吸収しないやつを言うんだ。オタクっていうのは。
カメラオタクってなんか怪しいイメージあるよな。
別に人様に迷惑かけなければいいんじゃん。好きなんでしょ。うちだってジョニオタだし。
I'm a Johnny Otaku myself. You're John. Is that the same? Like I'm John Otaku. Like I'm just like I'm like the box standard. Stop it, please. More than anything, I don't want to be the same as you people. It's clear you have a disdain for these people, which is why they look down on you. I like your position was like, hey, as long as you're not hurting anybody, it's fine. Because that's really how it is. I do feel like in the first in Chaos Head, like the class was really, really hostile to like otakus, like super, like obviously it was encouraged because of the plot, but this feels more like an actual reaction of actual classmates where a lot of them were like, man, that's weird, or like, man, he's talking down about us, and then but they're like, look, who cares? Just leave him alone. Like the last thing I need to do is care about what that guy thinks. And the door to the classroom flew open. Oh. All right. A female student was looking in. Quick saved. Okay. Why is it suddenly quick saving? All right. I'm gonna say though, so someone said in a comment section that this game, if you do the neutral, like you like don't miss anything. Like basically, like we see all the text and then it starts a delusion and then we jump back. And so they said that like while like specific endings might be had by going down certain paths, like it's not something to worry about too much. So I'm probably gonna do a lot of delusions, but I might decide to skip delusions anyway. Just, hey, who knows? Maybe I'll get a special ending, but I'm not too concerned about that because if it's anything like the model that we saw in Chaos Head, finding specific endings is basically like it's so specific and so like, I don't even think I'm gonna be able to stumble into it anything but the normal ending on my face playthrough. That's just my guess. So I'm probably gonna use a lot of delusions. I'm gonna go for this one. She must have been in a hurry because she was a little out of breath. She brushed her long hair out of her eyes and was about to come inside. All right, already looking good. I'm a fan of character designs with long hair.
No. どうしたの?
No.
おー、上帝、ちょうどよかった。
Empress. The whole class started talking to her. I'm guessing she's like student class president or something. Aw, she's cute.
ちょっと。
She was about to say something when her foot caught on one of the cables and running across the room. Uh-oh. And she suddenly tripped. Oh no. I have a feeling we're being triggered.
危ない。
Yeah, sure. You would jump up and catch her. Like I know it's a delusion now. I moved quickly. She staggered forward, but I grabbed her to keep her from falling.
気をつけろよ。
No way you'd ever talk like this. Her hair flew up and tickled my nose. Smelled good. Her body was very soft, dude. Oh, extremely soft, in fact. It felt kind of squeezable. Oh gosh. No, tell you what. Next time you're with your partner, just grab them and just whisper, "You're kind of squeezable." Oh, totally gonna get the heart racing. What was I touching? Oh no. Was any part of a person's body this soft? No, at least not on a man's body, wasn't. Which meant... Was it softness?
宮代、お前とんでもない勇者だな。
You're the bravest man I've ever met.
堂々と女帝のおっぱいをもみもみするなんて。
Boobs?
あ、いや、これは事故だ。事故なんだ。
Yeah, yeah. Well, that was quick. If that ever actually happened, she would kill me for sure. Just thinking about it made my blood run cold. She almost tripped, but managed to keep her balance. Oh, she's like crying already. She smiled a bit and took a deep breath. All the students around her, boys and girls alike, began to move. Yeah, she's very sweet. It's interesting. They surrounded her as if they were welcoming a long-lost family member.
ちょっと誰？こんなところにケーブル置きっぱなしにしたの。危ないな。
ノノ、ごめんね。
女帝、大丈夫か？
ええ、気にしないで。
She answered them with a smile. Her voice actor, like, so someone pointed out, because like I was trying to associate and see if any voice actors were the same between the two games, like the first and second, and like that's what they said no, but there's a good chance that they are going to have similar voice actors of other games. I felt like our eyes met. I looked away without thinking. Kurusu no. No, not Kurusu, it's Kurusu. The first student council president of Hekiko Academy. I was right.
さ、うちの喫茶でキッチン側とそれ以外のこっち側のなんてのお客さんスペースってか。
Oh, what do you call that? The sitting room, maybe? Kurusu. It's too similar to Kurisu. Kurusu. Smiled a little as he spoke.
ホール側？
Oh,
そう
the
そう、
dining
ホー
hall.
ルだ。
Yeah.
そのさ、間を仕切る暗幕の数の調整ってワックンしてくれた？
Mr. Wacky, who's that?
調整？涌井先生が増田くんにそう言ったの？
Wakui. Okay, Wakui. And then, like, it's interesting that she knows all their names.
え、聞いてない？
ええ。ということは絶対やってないでしょうね。わかった。私から言っておく。
Aww.
大丈夫？なんか女帝、先生たちから目つけられてんじゃん。てか、怖がられてんじゃん。
Scared of you.
生徒会長なんて生徒側から学校側に無理難題を押し付けるためにいるものでしょ。大丈夫。なけなしの権力を振りかざすから。あと増田くん、女帝はやめて。
Okay. So this is something I see a lot in like anime shows and stuff. I always thought it's just for the plot, but like how much power does the student council actually have in a school? Because the student council in a high school basically was just a like representative government of students that had basically no actual power, except for they were tasked with organizing things that involved the students and making suggestions for the school to consider using for anything. But in a lot of these shows, they talk about them having power. Like she somehow has an ability to actually influence or potentially disrupt the jobs of teachers. Is that actually a thing? Like, I see it all the time. It's always bothered me because I've always thought it's just a trope for a show to help like the student council feel more impactful for a story. But it comes up so frequently, I'm wondering if it's based on some type of reality. I doubt it though.
ほう、サンキュー、女帝。
Stop doing that.
あなたね。
Oh, that's a cool pose. Wouldn't it be hilarious if she was actually the villain the whole time? Most of the boys in the class called Kurusu Empress as a joke. She'd gotten the name after becoming a hero to her fellow students through gallant deeds like putting an end to the principal's endless homeroom speeches. Not to mention bringing more types of bread to the school store. See, bringing more types of bread, that sounds like high school council.
ノー、着ぐるみありがとね。ぴったりだった。田中。それ私が試着した時最後までファスナー上がらなかったんだけど。
Oh.
地雷呼び込み禁止にするからね。
She's basically saying like you implying that costume like that I'm fat because the costume should be like if it couldn't fit me. That's kind of funny. A little bitter, and then look at like that's some danger eyes right there.
あー、ごめん、嘘。ピチピチだから。これは割とマジで。いや、てか、どうせ胸で引っかかったんでしょ？
Psh.
冗談。期待してるから。笑い取ってよ。
Okay, okay. She sure was popular. She even knew the names of the students in other classes. The top of the school's social hierarchy. That was the first phrase that came to mind. And then... Oh gosh, she's coming to talk to us.
話があるの。ちょっと来てくれる？
What? Kudesu walked all the way over to me and Itou. Her expression was so kind, it seemed like she had been putting on some kind of act. I could see that all the people who had been surrounding her were staring at me. Yeah, I'm staring at you. What's happening?
女帝、カメラっ子に何の用だ？友達なのか？
知らないの？ナノは。
Oh?
はあ、マジで？
What is she, our sister or something? I ignored my classmates' whispers and focused on Kudesu. Her smile seemed fake, as if it had been plastered on her face. Whenever she smiled like that, it meant she wasn't in a good mood.
今はごめん。事件に関して気づいたことがあって、それをまとめてる最中なんだ。
Alright. Look at that pose. Dang. Also, I gotta say, proportion-wise, her waist is tiny. Holy crap. That doesn't look healthy.
生徒会文化祭の準備が佳境だろ。だからクルスが落ち着いたらで。
Uh-oh, look, that's danger. Her cheeks twitched a little. Crap. Kudesu didn't like it when I called her by her last name.
ちょっと来てくれる？部室。
Oh, is she in newspaper club too, maybe? I could sense a dark aura forming around her, hardly befitting a so-called Empress.
来てくれる？
She's so close to me.
行こうか部室。なあ、宮代。
Itou couldn't handle the terror. I didn't look like I could talk my way out of this one. Seeing no other choice, I nodded and stood up. Are we about to see the real her?
クルス
Ugh.
クルス、ちょっと。
グラウンドに出す屋台のコンロの数でしょ？やっぱり一つの屋台につき一つで統一する。
いや、それは。おう。
Okay.
悪いけど例外はなし。校長に掛け合ったけどダメだったから。人数が多くて不満があるところは私が後で直接説明に行く。
Okay, that tracks.
了解。いや、じゃなくて、なんで持ち場離れて。クルス？だから、忙しかったら落ち着いたらでいいって。
もう終わったから。ごめんね、川原くん。急ぎなの。
Okay. Her tone was gentle but broke to no argument as she hurried to the clubroom. Uh-oh. He,
宮代、またお前か。今度は何したんだ？
Oh no. Alright. Do we balance the scales? Do we try a neutral one, which would probably just be nothing? Or do we see if we end up having a smooching session with Mayashiro? Let's do another negative one. Keep the balance. Balance in the force. Kuwahara-kun cut her off. I didn't know his first name. He was in the same class as Itou and I, and he was the vice president of the student council.
いや、いい。言わなくても分かってる。また例のくだらない記者ごっこだろ？それとも探偵気取りか？
Detective was probably what you mean, because a student, if he works on a school newspaper, he technically is a reporter, but he's not like a professional one. I mean, because here's the thing, doing newspaper in club, I could get like press passes. Like I could go to events and skip lines or like go into places that normal people couldn't to get like pictures or to do interviews. Like obviously not on like grand scales or for massive things, but even then, like we had like the governor come to town to do like town hall meetings or like wannabe governors, and like I was able to get into those. I was able to get special access to like a museum that was like opening up at the time. Like technically, you work at a school newspaper, you are a reporter, and you get your press pass and everything. I knew why he was giving me a hard time. He didn't like the fact that Kurusu was spending so much time with me.
別に、
何？
川原くんに迷惑はかけてないと思いますけど。
かかってるんだよ。クルスの時間が割かれると、同じ生徒会の俺たち全員にな。
Here we go again.
うるさいな。
Uh-oh.
なんだって？今うるさいって言ったのか？
He must have heard that because it came storming up to me. He tried to grab me by the collar, but I knocked his hand away. Instead, I grabbed his head and put it under my arm.
おい、離せ！
I grabbed his belt and lifted him up off the ground. Yeah, sure. Definitely a delusion.
お！ブレーンバスターか！そのまま垂直落下で落とせ、宮代！
Ito's cheering us on.
やめなさい。危ないでしょ。
I raised Kiwahara-kun above my head and then stood there, unmoving for a moment. Just when I was deciding whether to drop him or put him down.
おい！下ろせ！
He flailed his leg toward the ceiling and tried to escape. That man didn't know when to give up. I could do a lot worse than just drop you, you know. I shifted Kuwahara around in my arms and quickly moved in position for a pile driver. Then dropped to the ground butt first and slammed his head into the floor.
Steiner screwdriver!
A Steiner screwdriver? Interesting. That's an interesting phrase to use. Is that a normal name? Crack. I heard an awful crunching sound. His skull must have fractured. But just as before I dropped him and let go a little so it didn't hit him as hard as it could have. If I hadn't, he'd be dead right now.
タクル、やりすぎよ。
It is. Kurusu's face was expressionless.
警察に通報するわ。
僕が悪いんじゃない。僕を苛立たせた川原くんが悪いんだ。
Oh gosh, it cringes so much.
そんな理由で人生を棒に振ったの。あなたがそんなに愚かだったなんて知らなかった。
I watched in a daze as Kurusu called the police. Kuwahara-kun had passed out, little bubbles of foam forming around his mouth. The teachers had heard the noise and started to gather around me. I guess I'm going to have to drop out of school. Yeah, that's what would happen. No, it's not. I could beat the stuff I got of Kawahara right now if I wanted, but that would just get me in trouble. I didn't want to ruin my life over something like that. So I decided to just say no to anything, not to say anything to him.
お前、小中と不登校だったんだって？
Oh. I could feel my legs tense up. I stopped. My face got hot, and without thinking, I glared accusingly at Kurusu. She quickly shook her head.
川原くん、急いでいるから。
But he kept on staring at me. I felt like he was grinning a little. It pissed me off. But there was nothing I could say. I did the best I could to ignore him and turn away. I ignored what sounded like a light laugh and hurried to the club room. Second of three of us were alone in the club room, her expression changed. The smile plastered on the student council president's face disappeared. This was who she really was.
何が？
You can talk to her. Remember to clean up.
川原くんが言ってたこと。私が彼に言ったわけじゃないから。
Gotcha.
別に気にしてないよ。
Oh yeah, it did.
嘘。
Yep. Really, it didn't. Everything about me was different than it used to be.
まあ。で、何？副部長。話があんでしょ？
Of the newspaper club. So she's student council president, but vice president of the newspaper club? Kurusu sighed and changed the subject.
タクル、あなたちゃんとご飯食べてるの？少し痩せたんじゃない？
I think this is our sister. Alright, I think we're gonna go ahead and stop here. It's been a while. We'll get to have like an actual conversation with Kurusu. and like kind of all this. We've basically done a lot of setup today. Again, I'm doing these videos a little longer than I probably would normally because A, I've been better with my time this weekend, thank goodness. And secondly, because there's so much of like reading tips and just rants that I've been going on, I'm trying to get more in. I don't know if I'll be able to keep this pace up consistently, but I'll tell you, this game is easy to want to continue. This one keeps me interested. And the pacing is just spectacular. So the quality of the writing so far is absolutely like, it's like night and day compared to Chaoschild. So I'm very interested to see where this goes. But for now, we're gonna end things here. Thank you so much for joining me. We've got to make Kurisu, which I'm guessing, like the way she's talking even here, I'm guessing that she's going to be like our sister or a cousin or something. But if she is a sister, it does beg a question, why are we living inside of a trailer? Again, it kind of reminds me of the Taku from the first game setup. Like maybe it's supposed to be a mirror of that Taku's life in a way. And if that's the case, then this is our sister. She's worried about us, but we live away from her and our parents for some reason. And we'll probably get a little bit of idea about that in the future. So looking forward to that. And then from this point on, let's jump right in. Although that's odd though. If it is our sister and we have a delusion where we fondle her, that's creepy. And I really hope that that's not the case because that would be very unfortunate. Not that the first game didn't have a lot of unfortunate stuff in it, but you know, we wisely didn't cover that on the channel because otherwise you just would have been seeing me cringing and crying in my hands at just how ridiculous that got. So hopefully we don't have to repeat that. Thank you so much for joining me today though. Again, we're jumping right in. We're kind of getting a feel for everything. The first few episodes are always about setup and world building and kind of like setting a tone. So far, it's very good. I understand there's probably not a lot that happened today that's like very intensely interesting to view or watch, but hopefully my thoughts and my my ramblings made it somewhat more like dynamic than just like watching someone click through a visual novel. That's really the goal here, is I'm trying to make something more interesting and more like personalized, and hopefully I can achieve that. I especially am grateful for the patrons and members, the channel members. You're wonderful. I have a lot of interesting stuff to show you guys, and I'm hoping that I can continue to make it feel like your investment in the channel is worth it, and that we're going to keep bringing good things together and making just more happen with what we have. I'm really grateful for each and every one of you. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, a good start to your weekend, and until the next video you're watching me or happen to see me in next, I'll see you there.